So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another webinar of ITSA, and today we are all with the eminent panelists. Today, this webinar will have more issues on which we'll talk about. And in our earlier webinars as well, we have talked about some very pertinent issues. Brigadier Dr. Vijay Sagar Dhiman is the convener of ITSA, and I welcome Brigadier Dr. Vijay Sagar Dhiman to address you all about the agenda of today and what all we will discuss today. He'll tell you. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Varun. Thanks, Atan. Venerable ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this edition of webinars that we're conducting for ITSA. And today's subject that we've selected is, we would be talking about all the infirmities that history of Jammu and Kashmir, ever since it was formed, or history of Dogra Desh, Dugar Desh, whatever's happened. Unfortunately, we've seen earlier that very few of us were talking about things. And many of our history things were not noted at all, or they were ignored, or they were distorted and deformed and then presented towards the world. So that is why we selected this particular subject, history of Jammu and Kashmir. Like the last time somebody asked me, Brigadier Sahab, aapko pata hona chahiye, Jammu and Kashmir to sirf chhota sa portion reh gaya hai, Ladakh, Gilgit, Baltistan is not part of it. So I gave him a clarification. I'm repeating it over here. When we say Jammu and Kashmir, we're talking about the entire Ladakh, parts of Tibet, Gilgit, Baltistan, Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir, as well as Kashmir and Jammu and Valley. And even certain regions which are there in Punjab, let's say Hoshiarpur, Nahan, Kangra, they are formerly part of Himachal Pradesh or Punjab. But when we talk about our history, this whole region is included, they're all Dogras basically. So today I would like to tell you that there have been so many infirmities, and few examples I would give you. Like none of us, or very few of us, where there was somebody called Maharaja Ranjit Dev. People confuse it with Ranjit Singh of Punjab. Ranjit Dev was a visionary who did a lot of work for this particular region. The entire art and culture, a different trade route, a so-called Silk Route, which was not possible because of the wars between Afghans and the people, rulers of Delhi in erstwhile Punjab I'm talking about, including what is in Pakistan. He had a different Silk Route, which was starting from Delhi to Nahan, Kangra, Dalhousie, Pathankot, Basoli, Bhadrawaka, West, all those places. So we were not aware. So we were not aware of his contribution of that gentleman who did a lot of work for the art and culture of this place. We are again given a wrong feedback about Maharaja Hari Singh. We are told that Maharaja Hari Singh was an autocratic ruler. He had a Bigar system. Now this Bigar system was basically for the development purposes of that people. Of course, salaries were not given, but then these were developmental purposes and food was given in lieu. So once you're distorting the history, then they also say he was anti-India. Whereas had he been anti-India, the British right from his birth were nurturing him, whether he was sent to Meos in Ajmer for studies, or he was sent to London for studies, or even he was nurtured all along, thinking that he will fall in line with them. But then in 1930, when Princess of Chambers, he was elected as a president, chairman, and thereafter when he spoke at that time, he spoke totally pro-India nationalistic language. And just because he did not toe the line of British did a conspiracy against him. That is how the Pakistan came up. And we can discuss this in a separate issue. And the areas of Gilgit, Baltistan, which Major Brown sort of literally snatched away from Maharaja by imprisoning the governor, Brigadier Gansara Singh. That was a conspiracy which was operated by the British. Major Brown was the regent. And then it was assisted by the certain Muslim troops of Jammu and Kashmir Rifles who were pro-Pakistan in their ideas at that time. So it was all done just to sort of let the Maharaja down. Had he been not Indian, had he wanted to be an independent ruler or wanted to join Pakistan, all this would not have happened. Similarly, when post-independence, when constituent assemblies were formed all over, now everybody reported that Jammu and Kashmir 370, all that humbug was because the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, comprising of 73 members, chose to do whatever they did. But very few are told that those 73-member Constituent Assembly was basically a sham. The candidature of all the people from Jammu region or Dogra region was cancelled on technical grounds, and 71 Sheikh Abdullah's men were unopposed, and 2 were very lightly contested. So why did Nehru not oppose? Rather, they gave a narrative that this is the will of people of Jammu and Kashmir, which is not true. The will of people from Dogra land was not taken at all. Nehru should have ideally disbanded that Constituent Assembly and gone ahead with the thing again. If he wasn't so much in taking care of people from Jammu. So this was reported by the foreign authors, reported by the Pakistani authors, or even Indian intellectuals, because that was the narrative given to them. And nobody from Dogra land was allowed to speak. Even a big agitation which was launched by Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee after forming Praja Parishad was ignored. And they said it is just a political party. But why was the political party formed was not told to the world at all. So likewise, these are so many infirmities which today eminent panel is here to talk to you about all these things. And I'm sure they will pick out the points one by one and try to convey to the rest of the world, look, this is what is the truth. And they'll be giving you the authorities, they'll giving you the logics. And now I'll introduce you to the panelists. I welcome Dr. Varsha Gupta, who's a professor in Jammu University of History, and she's done a lot of work on this particular subject. And today she will be telling us pre-independence history, whatever history has been taught to us by virtue of references and all from others, for outsiders who have not even put their foot on the soil ever, but they're supposed so-called experts. So Dr. Varsha Gupta will be clarifying all those things with her logics and with her references and with her incidents which were totally ignored. Then we have Mr. Harbans Singh Samyal, who's done a lot of research in this field, and I've heard him many times in International Dogra Society, UK's convenings, where he's given entire history of Jammu and Kashmir. And he's an authority on the subject, and he will now be giving it out. And his lot of books have already come out, and he's in the process of writing another one, wherein a lot of these things will be clarified to the rest of the world. Look, this is the truth and not what the way you've been fed so far. And then we have our patron, our octogenarian, nanogenarian, I would say, Major General Govardhan Singh Jamwal, AVSN, who's a history in himself. He is a living legend who has seen first-hand. Like when in 1947, he was a commissioned officer in Jammu Kashmir forces. So he exactly knows what happened and what all conspiracies were there against Jammu Dogras by virtue of Sheikh Abdullah. And Sheikh Abdullah, not that he was somebody very loyal to the Kashmiris or people from Valley. I can assure you, Sheikh Abdullah and his men were looking after only 20% of the population of the Valley, who were their own cronies. They did not do anything for the common masses of even Kashmir. Forget about Jammu. So all these things today our panel would be addressing, and I'm sure you all would listen and you would ask questions. And by and by, when people keep joining us, or even whenever they're watching a recorded version of this on YouTube or other social media, they can always put in a question if they have any, or even arguments for that matter. I would be too happy to respond to them with whatever the correct version is.